My name is George, and this is my life. Let's give you a little bit of backstory. I grew up in a small town in Maine. I've lived there my entire life. Throughout my life, we have been... No yawning.
I'm
no,
sick
throughout
of
my
your
life,
shit, okay? I'm tired of your
throughout my
shit.
life, we've been living in the same address, but actually, at one point when I was like 6, we had to move into my garage for a couple years because we didn't have any water. And living in poverty is exciting, and it teaches you how to poop in a bucket, which is a skill that you need to learn for camping in 15 years. So I really appreciate that. Yeah, so we grew up in semi-poverty. My dad worked at BIW, so he was making good money, but my mom didn't work for most of my life because she decided to kind of just live at home and take care of her children, her 5 children. So yeah, grew up going from my house to my garage to the house across the street back to my place until I got older, which I guess I'll just skip to like 16 years old. My grandfather passed away, and he had quite a bit of money, so he gave my parents, when he passed away, he gave my dad like around $200,000. My dad purchased a new trailer, a new vehicle, and a whole bunch of stuff like that because he knew that he was sick, because both my parents had emphysema, so he knew that he was sick, so he figured he'd spend the money that he wanted to spend on whatever he wanted to spend it on, which I really think is a smart way to do it. So he got all the things he wanted, like 4x4 buggy and a whole bunch of stuff like that. And about a year later, him and my mom got really, really sick. He was in the hospital like constantly, and my mom was in the hospital constantly. And I spent most of my why do we have to go sad? That's my life, though.
Yeah.
No, I spent most of my junior year and senior year in the hospital with my parents, just helping them out, trying to also get through high school. And January of 2016, my mother passed away of emphysema and heart failure. And I was 17 years old, and I was like, oh, well, that fucking hurt. If we need to go into specifics, we can probably do that on a different recording about, like, that exact experience, because I was trying to get my sister into that. But yeah, so I went through that, and it actually, honestly, I feel like it brought me and my father closer, because me and him didn't exactly get along much when I was younger, because he wanted manly sons that like to go hunting and fishing and so on, and I was that son that liked to fucking sit inside, bake cupcakes, and draw, which I really think is an okay thing. I don't have a problem with it at all. But yeah, it brought me and him closer. I started doing a lot more woodworking around that time, so he was a lot more happy about the way I was turning out. And it turns out he really found me to be, I guess, a responsible individual and like someone that he would actually trust, because 3 months later, after my mother passed away, he passed away of the same things, heart failure and emphysema. And that was the beginning of my incline and decline, my emotional decline and my responsible incline. I started living in my parents' house and started picking up all the payments at 17 years old. I still have the house to this day. And, yeah, I have my friends. My friends lived with me. My friend Joey, who you may see on a podcast, lived with me for about a year and a half. My friend Kyle.
Hi.
He lived with me for about, scattered around for a year and a half. Like,
yeah,
you lived with me, then left, and lived with me, then left. So, yeah, he lived with me for a while. And that, I feel like losing people definitely helps you build relationships with people. Alex, you say something.
Yeah.
I've known him since I was 5 years old, kindergarten.
Right.
We've known each other scattered throughout my life, but we've never not gotten along, and now I feel like we're closer friends than we ever were, really. And yeah, friendships and relationships amongst my family definitely they spiked after my parents passed away. So I'm never gonna be like, hey, I wish my parents didn't go, because I'm not happy that my parents are gone, but I am happy I got the experience of trying to learn how important relationships actually are with other people. And I think that's what loss teaches you. But
well, I'd like to point out we met each other in high school. Like, re-met each other in high school.
Because we didn't.
That's where our friendship started.
That was because me and Alex were pretty close friends, and then I started hanging out with you, and then
by proxy,
you ended up hanging out with him.
Yeah.
Right.
And it kind of just ended up.
Yeah, it starts a cycle. That's like with Aaron.
It's a circle.
With Aaron, me and Aaron got along great because he's my brother-in-law, and then I met Johan, and now me and Johan are really good friends. So it starts a cycle of friendships. But yeah, about 5 months after my dad passed away, my dog, I inherited, I guess you'd say, 2 golden retrievers, Ginger and Angel, and one of my dogs, Angel, had gotten a porcupine quill in her foot and had gotten infected, and she started like puking blood and so on, so we had to get her put down. And Kyle and his family was there to help me, and they helped me through everything, and so that helped build that relationship a little bit more. And about 3 months after that, let's get
a little sadder.
Yeah, I got a puppy, and I named her Moana because I fucking love that movie.
And your niece wanted to.
Oh
name
yeah,
her.
she loved the idea of naming a puppy Moana. I was actually working on getting her a collar with the little Moana fucking gem.
The Heart of Te-Fiti.
Yeah, but no, I got her, and I had her for about a month. And apparently she was overdosed on flea medication and started having seizures, and she got to the point where she was having 3 seizures a minute, and they were lasting way too long, and they said they can't stop it, and we had to have her put down, which was another big emotional break for me. I feel like my parents passing was an emotional break that I was getting through, but then that dog passing, the second one, I for some reason, I kind of just... I didn't even break emotionally and start crying as much. I broke emotionally and started getting angry, and that was another start of a decline in my life, and then also an incline because I had to learn how to get through it. And Kyle once again was there to help me bury my dog. He went outside at 6 a.m. to start burying my dog because I didn't
even tell you I was going. My mother called you and told you that I was out in the backyard.
And then I was called, and like he said, by his mom, and she's like, hey, Kyle's in your backyard burying your dog right now. And I was like, oh, fuck, great. And then I went outside and I tried to help him out, but that was something that helped me get through things, and I appreciate you. I still don't say I love you to my friends typically. I'm like, I appreciate what you've done. But so that happened, all that. Let's get to like the working. I'm not going to say the exact name of the company, but I've been working, taking care of people that have a hard time taking care of themselves. I'm in that type of career field. And at one point I did telemarketing and sold dildos, and that was fun. And I've also done lumberyard work, and I did landscaping with my brother, and he has his own company, so it was a nice experience. But I'm back to the field that I feel like I enjoyed the most out of all of them. But so I went back to the company that I'm working at now, and I've been there for about a year and a half now again, and everything emotional that's happened in my life has also been coupled with things that help me get through it, and people that help me get through it, and building relationships with those people. So I'm never going to say I regret anything that's happened in my life, because everything that's happened in my life has happened and helped me bring someone in my life to a closer friend. And I think that's a big important thing in life to realize. Unless you have no friends and you lose somebody and you're just fucked. Right. In that case, just listen to us. We're your friend. I think in my life I focus on family and friends over everything else in the whole scheme of things. And I just would like to talk about, I am not a sad person in general. Like, a lot of sad shit has happened, but I am generally a really happy person that tries to see the good in things. I don't believe everything happens for a reason, but I do believe some things do happen to help you grow, and that's something that people need to realize. You can't change something that's happened, but you can change yourself in that situation, and that's a good thing to think about. So that's my backstory, and now I'm sitting in a room with 3 men that have gassy problems and listening to myself on a podcast. But yeah, so that's the life of George. It's not a happy life, it's not a sad life, but it's a life I live, and I wouldn't live any other. Thank you for listening to my life. If you like this video, please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next podcast. Have a great day.